Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy the Kryptonian Saiyan here, bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 853. I gotta say, man, this chapter, I'm okay with this chapter, but at the same time, this kind of feels like Oda's more setting things up. Like the last few chapters have been just filled with plot twist after plot twist, zinger after zinger. Pudding turns out to be a evil, conniving bitch. I'm still kind of getting over that. And then in this chapter, it feels like, okay, now we're setting up for the next act. I mean, I'm okay with that, but this is one of those times where I just wanted more of the narrative to kind of continue. This wasn't a bad chapter, don't get me wrong. I know somebody probably already saying this, you're saying this is a bad chapter. That's not necessarily what I'm getting at, but what I'm getting at is the fact that I feel like this chapter is where it didn't necessarily stall, but Oda has just put the car into cruise control at this point. He's put the car into cruise control, and he's gonna let things kind of coast along until he gets ready for the next big event, which is gonna be the actual wedding. I think that that's what Oda's kind of preparing for. It's like Oda's saying, okay, we got all the gears in place now. Now it's just a matter of waiting for everything to stick. So I mean, the chapter opens up with Big Mom. You know, she's had Brook search, right? Brook has been stripped basically naked, and at no point does Brook say, I want to look up this bitch's panties. But this is the thing, right? Like they're looking over Brook and they can't find anything, and Big Mom says, oh, okay, that's good that you didn't trace my poneglyph, because I can't let anything like that happen again. Roger was the one who made it to Raffatel, and I'm not gonna let something like that happen again. So Big Mom goes back to the days of Roger. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that. And what I also thought was interesting was the fact that Big Mom's hat, I thought her hat was an accessory, right? Her hat is actually alive. So essentially her hat is like a walking weave. Oh man, yo, but for real, like Big Mom put pieces of her soul into her weave, and what's so crazy is the fact that I called her hat her weave. Let me back up, man. Let me back up. I'm cutting up right now. But Big Mom put pieces of her soul into her hat, as well as into the cloud and the sun that follows around. So you have Napoleon, Zeus, and Prometheus. So I thought that was pretty cool, just based on the names right there. I thought that was pretty interesting. But you know, Big Mom, you know, the big thing with her is she says she has a secret weapon, and now we find out once again that Big Mom, you know, she doesn't just let anybody, you know, bust a nutter butter inside of her. You know, it's for strategic reasons. And so when it comes to Pudding, when it came to conceiving Pudding, I'm guessing her father was part of that three-eyed clan or something like that, and there's a special power there. And I find it interesting that, you know, she refers to the whole thing about being able to hear the voice of all things. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say that Luffy was compared to that. I know Roger had it, if I'm not mistaken. I think Luffy was either hinted at having that or was compared to having it. And what's so crazy is the fact that Big Mom's planning on using Pudding for. And when Pudding sees Brook, right, when Pudding sees Brook, she says, okay, well, at least they caught him. And so she's putting on an act at this point. She says, okay, well, Mom, I don't want to talk to you right here. It's funny that Brook doesn't actually know that Pudding is a backstabbing bitch. Now, when it comes to the fight with Pedro, I didn't really care for that, but I will say that I did buy into the fact I thought he was going to blow himself up. And I thought it was pretty cool in the fact that essentially Chopper saved his ass. Chopper saved him. And what Chopper ends up telling him is like, look, you know, as long as, you know, we're in this mirror world, as long as we have Broly helping us, you know, we can essentially find all the straw has to get out here. It's a really good idea in theory, but at some point you gotta believe that Big Mom has a way around the different mechanisms of this type of mirror world right here. Big Mom wouldn't allow something like that to exist to where it could be used against her. I don't think that that's the case. Like, we're dealing with a fucking emperor at this point. But what I also liked about this part is the fact that now you're getting Carrot, and she has her drawings, and much like I predicted, she can't draw for shit. Like that depiction of Brook, like Brook looked like he's about to drop like the most fierce 16 bars ever, and it's gonna be over a reggae beat. Like when you look at Nami looks like somebody that's, you know, probably a drag queen. Luffy looks like he's gender bent. I don't know what the hell's going on with Sanji. And when it comes to Pedro looks like a fucking no mask. Like, she can't draw at all, and yet the mirrors are giving her the answers. And so basically the long-haired girl, Nami, she ran across the hallway. She's with Big Boss Jinbe. So Jinbe's obviously raising some hell. So, you know, Jinbe's also, you know, keeping Nami safe like how Luffy wanted. I like the fact that, you know, people are saying we can't contain Straw Hat Luffy. He can't be stopped. And this is Luffy while he's fatigued, which is so fucking crazy. But what I like about this is that as you see Luffy raising hell, Reiju just pulls this dude to the side. Reiju pulls him to the side and she drags him into that medical ward where she's at, right? Reiju looks at this dude and she says like, okay, Sanji was just here moments ago. And I gotta say this about Oda, right? Oda ain't slick, man. He on some fairy tale shit. Oda's showing the panty lines and shit. You dirty motherfucker, Oda. I see what you're doing right there. I see what you're doing. Cause Reiju making a case to be the hottest woman in One Piece. God damn. When she sucked the poison now, yeah, let you know she could do some shit. But what's so cool about that though, right? And she's even got a fucking 6 on the tattoo. That shit's a fucking tramp stamp, dude. Like, she just flipped that shit around. Yo, I'm getting loose for a second, man. I'm getting loose, man. But I gotta say, man, like the fact that when Luffy finds out that essentially Sanji knows that Pudding was betraying them, I thought that that was, you know, a nice way to kind of wrap things up and push things forward. But, you know, what's also crazy is the fact that, you know, Reiju's like, well, you know, you gotta understand, you know, Sanji, he did everything he did because there are hostages in the East Blue. And Luffy's like, oh, the Barute? They're in trouble. I'll go back to the East Blue. And it's like, wait a second. You're going to go back to the East Blue. Like, you came so deep into the Grand Line to where now you're in the New World. Now you're willing to go back to the East Blue in order to save Sanji's people. Like, that is loyalty right there. Like, you got to find you a friend like Luffy, dude. But essentially, you know, it looks like Luffy's going back to the spot where he told Sanji that he wasn't going to eat anybody's cooking except for his own. And that's interesting. But what I like is the fact that Sanji has gotten to the point where, you know, he's saying like, look, there's no turning back now, Luffy. You know, he's basically saying like, look, like, we've hit that point now where I've made mistakes. My people aren't in danger, but I've made mistakes that's got us to this point. And it's like I always say, if you screw up, you got to screw up all the way. So, I mean, like I said, Oda, it feels like Oda's on cruise control. He's just basically waiting to get us to the actual wedding, and then that's where the next plot twist is going to happen. So, I want to know from you guys, though, right? I really want to know from you guys, what are you guys' thoughts about the fact that Luffy is going to wait at the exact spot where he told Sanji, okay? He told Sanji he wasn't going to eat anybody else's food. That's the most obvious thing here, right? That's the most obvious thing. Oda can't be doing anything else because he says, I got to go wait at that spot. Okay, he says, I gotta go wait at that spot. And when it comes to Reiju has an internal monologue where she's replaying what Luffy says and she's smiling. And Luffy says, I won't eat anyone's food but yours anymore. I mean, it's most obvious because Luffy says, you know, I can't do anything here. I made a promise to him, but it's not here. That's the most obvious thing because that's the only other place that he's made a promise to Sanji. So I want to know what you guys think. Is that the smart play by Luffy? Does he risk getting himself captured? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.